everybody. My name is Tara Beasley Stansberry, and welcome to Power Player Transformation Coaching. I am the CEO and founder of Power Player Transformation Coaching. And today, our workshop is Women, the Catalyst for Change. And today we're going to get into some of those eliminating beliefs. We're going to learn how to set some boundaries in this workshop. And of course, we'll talk about self-love and how to dive right on into leadership. So thank you guys so much for being here today. If we are going to be interactive today, so definitely I want you to go into the chat room and type away. I want to make it user friendly. So if you're having any issues, Tori is here and she is working the chat room for us. And thank you so much. So ladies, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay. All right, ladies. So first, we have eliminating those limiting beliefs. And I just want to dig right on in and first ask you, do you know what a limited belief is? A limited belief can be a negative thought. It can be a negative conversation that you have had with someone, and then you all of a sudden start to believe that. So what I want to do is we want to start eliminating that negative self-talk. We want to start eliminating those beliefs from way back when we were going through some traumatic experience, when we were going through childhood and someone told us what we could and couldn't do. And we know that to not be true today as adults, but sometimes we need those gentle reminders, right? So today I am going to shove you out of that negative headspace, right? And we're going to dig into how to eliminate some of those limiting beliefs. Let's start with, what are some of your limiting beliefs? What are some of the things that we told ourselves that we could not do? Go ahead and type those into the chat. Some of the negative or some of the limiting beliefs that I once told myself was I wasn't educated enough to start a business. I didn't know anyone and I didn't have any money. I didn't have enough money to start a business. How many of us have experienced that? Right. So these are the things that we will tell ourselves that actually will stifle us from actually moving, whether that be to start our business, just to dive into a leadership role. Another thing that I often would tell myself was that I didn't have any leadership experience. So who would hire me to be a supervisor? Who would hire me to be a leader of a group? And what community would accept me as a leader if I didn't bring that experience already? But those are things that are actually not true. And the reason why they're not true is because you have a destiny, you have a purpose. And we'll dig deeper into how you dig into and figure out what your purpose is. Okay. And where do these eliminating beliefs originate from? Right? Where do they come from? Do they come from friends? Do they come from family? And do they come from previous experiences? And I'm here to tell you that the answer is yes to every one of those questions, right? Those eliminating beliefs come from a traumatic experience that we had in the past. They also could come from a teacher who's told you that, hey, you're never going to go to college, or you're not smart enough, or I think remedial classes. Those are all things that can be very true. And we know that they've happened to either us or someone that we know very closely. They can also come from parents, right? Sometimes the people we love, they haven't had an opportunity to hone in on a skill set that they've wanted to master, right? Or they haven't had an experience that they've wanted to actually embark upon. So instead of pushing you to walk into the space of the unknown, they will sometimes stifle us and tell us what we can't do because no one in this family went to college. No one in this family started a business. We don't have the money. We don't have this. We don't have that. The list can go on and on, but I'm here to let you know those thoughts, you want to leave them where they are, and that is in the past. Okay. So we're going to leave those negative thoughts where they are, and that is past. We can absolutely move with our new mindset, but we have to catch that negative thought and release it back out into the universe, because what happens is you start welcoming the positivity, the warmth, and accepting yourself. Aha, that is where you start to actually feel the presence, and you actually start to feel the welcoming presence of yourself, accepting yourself and knowing and being comfortable who you are so that others can be receptive to you. Next, we're going to go and talk about our boundaries. How do we transition from those negative thoughts? Well, we can actually start with setting boundaries with those family members. We can start by setting boundaries with those people who have actually imposed those negative thoughts on us or their negative experiences. I want you to list three things that you know require boundaries, right? What are three things that require boundaries? That can be your time, that can be your job, your career, your children. You have to set those boundaries with these people, right? So I want you to list three things that you know that you need to set boundaries on. Okay. That can be, you know what? I don't take any calls after 8, whether it be business, personal, I don't care. I don't take any calls, right? And you have the right to do that because you need time to shut down. You can also set a boundary where you tell your family after 9 o'clock, the home settles down. We're going to speak in our inside voice. Okay. Those are all things that boundaries that you can set immediately. You can start them immediately. Question. And another question I want you to ask yourself is, what is stopping you from keeping the boundaries that you already have in place? Because some of us already have boundaries. So the boundaries that you already have, what is stopping you from keeping those boundaries? What is preventing you from moving forward and setting those boundaries and sharing those boundaries with people that you come in contact with? Okay. Do you believe that boundaries make you either intolerable, mean spirited, or unreasonable? Right? This is a real thing here. The reason why is because we are, genuinely speaking, right? I think we all want to please people, right? And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean that in a way of we always want to be our most pleasant and pleasurable self. That is just one of well, it's just our makeup, right? We want to make sure that we have a pleasurable spirit. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. Um, but the problem is this: when you start to set your boundaries and it's something new and it's something that you've never done before, that is when sometimes those boundaries are taken out of context and people actually think that you're being mean. They will actually think that you're not being warm and accepting and you're being mean spirited and you're being unreasonable. And why? Why should I not? Why shouldn't I be able to call you past 8 p.m., right? Why shouldn't I be able to hang out with you on the weekend? We've done it all the time. We've done it before. But what happens when you start to set boundaries is that some folks really just don't like the changing. Because what happens is you're making those changes, but the others can't keep up with those changes because why? They haven't done it themselves. And when you actually don't know how to set that boundary and set the tone, what happens is you're not teaching how to respect and your time and your entire essence of you. They're not respecting you. Okay. Presentations are communication tools that can be used as lectures, reports, and more. Okay. So I love when you set your boundaries, and you can do it by communicating. You can create a presentation. You can make it fun and exciting and say, guess what, guys? My life another direction. And here's how we're going to move, right? I see someone here in the chat says that they want to travel more, eat with those more with the same mindset, knowing how to say not at this time. That is so powerful. You know why? Traveling more gives us what? More time and more freedom to get to know who we are. Okay. It gives us a balance because what happens is when we work, and work, we don't have time to pour into ourselves. And this is something that we as women tend to lack on travel. Meeting with those with the same mindset. Again, I have that same, those are some of the same things that I say to myself, right? I always want to meet with more like-minded. I will caution you, however, those like-minded people may not look like you. So you have to be open and you have to be receptive because we never know who the universe is going to bring to us. Okay. I love that. Others can't keep up with the changes and teaching how to respect you. Absolutely. Right? I'm reading from the chat, guys, and this is great. Keep lighting us up in the chat room, okay? I love it. So now that we have set our boundaries, ladies, what are we going to do? We're going to slide into our leadership. Our leadership is a vision. It's an aspiration that you have created in your mind that the creator gave you. He didn't give it to anyone else, right? Your leadership, your style, who you are as a leader, and how you present yourself is how you will become that catalyst. It is how you will ignite others around you. Number one, I want you to think ahead and plan. Leaders you will often hear people say, a leader is oftentimes 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone. And why is that? That is because a leader has what we call foresight. Okay. Foresight gives you the ability to see things that others just simply cannot see. Right. And that like, oftentimes be our intuition. So you go with that and you lead in with that. If you have the power to dream, you can design your vision to meet that. Ooh, that's so powerful, right? If you have the vision, you can design your dream. How many of you have dreams? Oh, I have them all the time. I have visions of where I want to go, what I can see for my community, what I can see for my business, right? And that dream is oftentimes the vision. And your vision is that roadmap. You are going to set that roadmap for the people who are following, right? Number two is thinking positive. There's no way possible that you can move forward if you don't think positive about who you are as a person. First and foremost, you have to think positive. You have to be able to connect your mind, your body, and your spirit. You have to connect all three, right? And that is those eliminating those limited beliefs, and it is setting the boundaries. And then you are going to be able to think positive. Ladies, I don't want to confuse you. You're going to feel sad at times. You're going to be down on yourself at times. You may even feel like a failure at times. Those are very normal feelings. However, remember we talked about catching that and releasing it back to where it belongs. It doesn't belong to you. You don't claim those negative thoughts, right? To develop your powerful imagination, to make your vision with it, you need to develop a positive mindset, right? What we talked about. And unless you think positive, the actions or planning simply cannot happen in a positive, personal way. So remember, a lot of this goes back to you are as a woman. It goes back to your strength, your courage, your determination. That is how you will continue to keep yourself on that path of positivity. even when it feels like the world is crashing down, even when it feels like you're a complete and total failure. That failure is actually your experience. It's not a setback, it is a step forward for you to use the experience to learn and glean. All right, ladies, this is getting good. After leadership, you figured out that yes, you are a leader, right? You can either be born a leader, you can be taught. Either way, we all lead in our own right. But, ladies, the only way to truly exhibit leadership, true, genuine leadership, is to embrace self love, right? You have to do that. Number one, you appreciate yourself. How many of you appreciate yourself? In the chat, just say appreciate me. I appreciate you in the chat because we're putting it in the universe. Put it in the chat. I appreciate you. If you don't appreciate yourself, no one else will. Not sometimes. It's I appreciate, not sometimes. I see that in the chat. We are now speaking into existence. Remember, you tell the universe what you want and it gives it to you, right? Yes. I appreciate the gifts God has given me. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to appreciate those gifts. Why? Well, I mean, if you don't, no one else will. All right. Number two, being proud of your accomplishments, right? You have to be proud of the things you've accomplished. And we don't need you to win a Nobel Peace Prize, but you do have to appreciate the small things. It can be something so small as, you know what, today I ate an apple, a salad, and I drank water. And I am so proud of myself, right? Because that means those small changes and incremental changes turn into short term changes. And then those short term changes go into long term changes. Okay. So remember, you have to be proud of yourself. In order to develop that powerful imagination, you need to develop a positive mindset. Unless you think positive, the actions for planning cannot simply happen. It won't happen. Self love. What are you doing right now to show yourself self love? What are you doing? Tell me in the chat. What are you doing for yourself right now to show self? What are we doing? Are you going to the movies every week with yourself, by yourself, not with your kids, not with your friends, well, sometimes with your friends. Ooh, somebody said, I go for walks and write poetry. Excellent. Excellent. I love that. I absolutely love that. Taking the time to rest. Absolutely. You have to do not take rest for granted, ladies. Do not take sleep for granted. Do not take rest for granted. There's a saying that's called, I'm going to go home, Netflix, and chill, right? That's a thing. That is self love at its finest because how many of us binge watch? How many of you binge watch, right? Binge watch. Someone said they take walks singing songs that glorify God, laughing more. Oh my goodness, laughing more is essential. That is the key. Oh, someone said yes, British mysteries. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Poetry, singing, laughing, taking walks. Those are all things that you are doing to show yourself that you love yourself. Getting dressed up and going to a nice restaurant. I recently came back from Paris, France. And as a child, I envisioned myself, I had this vision of sitting at this restaurant. And it didn't dawn on me that in the vision, it was just me. It was just me at that restaurant. There was no one else with me but Tara. And when I had this trip and when I sat there and I sat at the table and I could do nothing but smile and I could do nothing but just feel like, wow, I am actually living this dream of self love, taking good care of myself. And that is the highest form of appreciation that you can ever show to yourself. It simply is. All right. What are some things that you guys are doing right now to show leadership? What are you doing right now? Show your leadership. Write me up in the chat. What are you doing right now to show that you have to show your leadership skill or to show that you're trying to transition into it? Are you asserting yourself more in the workplace? To start a business soon? Someone says supporting others and lifting them up. Oh, absolutely. That is leadership at its finest. Show them the way. Absolutely. Help and support others. Absolutely. Go through training. Absolutely. I love this. I love your guys' energy and I love your mindset. Yes. Got a lot of leaders here today. Ladies, welcome. Expanding our veterans housing and services too. Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much. Right? This is how you are showing you are a leader within your community. But with that leadership, what attracts you to other people? Being of service. Yes. Leadership is absolutely to be in service. It sure is. And the reason why it is in service is because you're showing others way. You're leading others to their greatness. But the best and the highest to show the self-love. Because if you show back to what I said earlier, you don't show self-love to yourself, well, no one else will do that. Because it goes back to what? You have to teach people how to treat. Does anyone have a regimen of self love? That's something that they do on a repeated basis. Do you do that? Is there something that you're doing on a repeated basis? Me myself, I like to go to the movies every single week. Right? I try to do that every weekend because as a kid, that was something that I did and I love doing. And I want to continue that because it actually gives me joy. I get so excited to buy my popcorn with extra butter and I layer that butter and I get a large cherry coke and I get red vines and I get a hot dog with mustard and um, jalapeno peppers. And that's my thing. No one can take that away, right? Someone said it. I like to go walking. It's calming for me. It is. I have this. I feel the same way. It is very calming, right? I stopped going to California Mud Bath every month. I'm starting that back up. Yes, absolutely. Start that back up. Yes. And let's also learn from a lot of the other ladies who are on the line. Going for walks really can clear your mind. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Someone wants to get in. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. What can you do to improve on this regimen? Right? I think we kind of went in. But what effect does the self-care routine have on your business and your personal life? This is a very, very, very real thing, right? So when you show self-love, you show up, you don't show up stressed. You don't show up not knowing discombobulated, not knowing what's going on, and you're front and center. You're at attention, right? And that is what you actually have that self-love. Number three, you want to recognize your skill set, right? So every one of us is good at something, but it's hard for you to identify those skills. Ask someone around you to help you list a few abilities that you have, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you're recognizing the skill sets that you have. And if you don't know what they are, ask three people. What am I good at? What do you think I'm good at? Right? You create your own list, but it's good to hear from others. Honor and respect. You don't just ask anyone, right? You only ask people honor and respect. Remember, this is a privilege type of conversation to have, right? Number four, learn to love your body. How many of us picked up COVID weight? I first, right? I'm the first. Yeah, I actually picked up 30 pounds, right? And what I love about myself is that I'm going to embrace that. The reason why is because you have to love yourself at every stage in life. We're going to go through late game. We're going to go through times where we may not feel the best about ourselves. We're going to go through instances and time periods where we're not on the up at all times. We may go through some trials, some tribulations within our family. We may have a death in the family, right? We may have an accident. There are lots of things that are going to happen. And let's be real, ladies, we're women, so our body continues to change every 10 years, right? And once you hit that 5-0 mark, gravity starts to set in. You know what I mean, right? But you still love that about yourself. How many of you starting to see some gray hairs here? I may be the only one, but let me know in the chat if you're starting to see gray hairs. I want you to embrace those gray hairs because that is your wisdom, right? One or two. Okay, me, yes. They embrace. I embrace wisdom, my wisdom. Somebody said, nope, thank you, Lord. You're on your way. Don't you worry about it. One day, right? One day you will get those gray hairs, right? And right now, enjoy the phase that you're at, right? Enjoy that phase. But if you do have those gray hairs, I want you to write in the chat, I embrace my wisdom. And if you don't have those gray hairs, write in the chat, I embrace my wisdom because we are being intentional and we want out into the universe so that it comes back to us. And so we are going to love on our, right? So we went through our questions. Number one, what does self-love mean to you? Number two, do you have a self-care regimen? And if so, what does that look like to you? Number three, how are you managing your time? Are you delegating in order to create this regimen? Because that is important, delegation. Number four, what can you do to improve this regimen? And number five, what does your self-care routine or regimen have on your business? What effect does it have on your business, your personal life, and so, ladies, I thank you for staying so connected with me. Thank you for joining us today. And I do have treat for you. There is a handout that I have, and I will actually email that to you. I may be able to slide it here in the chat for you. But I also want to let you know that there is an eliminating or limiting beliefs course that I have. I will email that out to you guys. It is priced just right. You will go through about 14 different modules, and you can go at your own pace. But I definitely highly encourage you ladies to actually take it, share it with someone, and so that way you can really retrain your mindset and start really getting into your new way of thinking, and you can start actually being that leader and that catalyst for change in your community, in your workplace, in your business, and in your every single day life. Ladies, thank you so much. I'm Tara Beasley Sansbury. This is Power Player Transformation Coaching. And I thank you so much for being here for our Women Catalyst for Change workshop. Any questions, please feel free to come on screen.
So I don't have a question. My name is Candy. I would just like to say, I'm glad that you put on this workshop. I learned a lot of information. I also follow you. I'm so proud to know you, the things that you are doing. I came to your workshop out in Vallejo you had. Keep going, okay? Keep growing, keep progressing. I love it, especially from one Black woman to the next. I love it. And anything you have, I will support. And my sister is on here too. So I think I speak for her as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Candy. I appreciate you guys both so much. And I just have to say, you and your sister, you guys have different businesses, and it's such an honor to see you guys. I'm watching you all the time on Facebook and Instagram, and you guys are killing it. And if you don't mind, I know that a lot of us women here are on the line are business owners, and I want to highlight you. So if you could please do me a favor, because I believe in us the power of networking, and I believe that the only way you can grow is to continue to support other women, right? And so if you have a business, I please feel free to put your website in the chat, or feel free to put your Instagram handle or your Facebook page so that people can get to know you as well, and we can all stay connected. Because what are we doing, ladies? We are building a community. So thank you so much. I love you for that. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I'm glad to be here. This is Rhonda, your mom. So I'm grateful to be able to stop in and give some time, and definitely godly proud of how you're excelling in your profession, and the desire to continue pressing and persevering, pushing in with this, with the coaching. So it's a real good thing that you're not taking down. And one of the things I've learned in speaking, teaching, and as that is what you did. You start, whether it's one person, and that could be you. You start teaching on time, and you did just that. And others are coming in. Though some couldn't even get in, but they persevered. There's Terry, who persevered and got in. So I thank God for that. Next time around, we'll get more women. Yes. Round them up early enough so that we can take advantage of all the information that you shared. It was real great, good leadership, and all some of the things, and boundaries. So thank you. I don't want to continue take up all your time, but it was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have my own mother here, because I wouldn't even be the woman I am today if it wasn't for her. And love on your mothers, ladies, because I'm telling you, we are the queens we are because of these women. They have walked through fire, they've walked through snow, they've walked through rain. And I even watched my mother do that. And so she is the reason Power Player Transformation Coaching even exists. And so thank you so much, Mother. I love you. I see some folks oh, hi there, Terry. I see some folks connecting in the chat. Absolutely. This is what it's about. I want you guys to know that we are creating a community. So please, we've got so many business owners, DRVA Rescue. We have Birthing Mothers Initiative, Pulse Check 101 with the CPR. We have so many businesses on the line. Rhonda Harris, the Veterans Home. Tamori Richardson, our co-host today. Thank you so much for managing the chat, getting people in as quickly as you could. We so appreciate you, but we also, she is also an entrepreneur herself, a wonderful international speaker and best-selling author. And it is an honor for her to be here today. And I just appreciate this is our tribe, ladies, and we're just going to continue to grow. And so I just appreciate you guys being here. Anybody else have anything to say? If not, I'm going to give you back your time so you can enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Contest Brothers Clothing Line. Yes, awesome. And RFN Associates Veterans Resource Program. Yes, if you have any veterans who need housing, definitely let's connect with Ron Harris. All right. Anyone else? Thank you so much. I will definitely email the program out to you guys. Without further ado, God bless you and have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.